You know, a lot of it is pretty dumb, you know, like this one's dumb, this one's AI. A lot of it's pretty dumb, but some of it's real. Some of this stuff is actually kind of intriguing. Hey, it's the Goblin Queen. All right. Here's something, gang. I get asked this question a lot. This is an Epstein theory, so we're going back to Epstein.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
Well, sorry, Trump. We're going to talk about him a little bit more.
That is unbelievable.
Oh, how dare you, sir? Yeah, that's my new soundboard. But this particular theory is that Epstein didn't die. Epstein didn't die. Epstein's still alive. You remember when there was a big website when Harry Potter was still coming out called DumbledoreDidn'tDie.com. I remember that one. And it was a sort of conspiracy website. After Dumbledore dies in 6, it was like, oh, actually, he's still alive. Look at all the clues. And a lot of it, they turned out were right, but then obviously the main premise was wrong. But anyway, sorry if I spoiled Harry Potter for anyone. Is anybody still even interested in that franchise? Probably not. But this kind of reminds me of that. I got Dumbledore didn't die flashbacks with the Epstein didn't die. And it's a sticky theory because it's fun, right? A lot of the Epstein stuff, you gotta read through a bunch of crazy stuff. You gotta look through a bunch of fucking data sheets and whatever, transaction invoices, and decipher his fucking annoying emails. But this one is just fun. Anyone can get in on this one. Epstein didn't die. He's still alive. He's in, Tel Aviv or wherever. Probably Tel Aviv, if we're being honest here. He's still alive. Look at this picture. And I get it. It's fun. I think I heard Ryan Grimm saying that he talked to his son, who's 10 years old, and his friends talk about Epstein. And the main theory that they talk about is that he's still alive. And they all think he's still alive playing Fortnite in Tel Aviv somewhere. So I thought it'd be fun to go over some of the theories, right? What if Epstein's alive and watches your streams? Kind of like how Alex Jones watched your stream about him and was like, this guy gets it. Yeah. Alex Jones said,
I thought it was entertaining and informative.
Nice. That's another one of my sound drops. Okay, Darkling. Honestly, I'm in the conspiracy camp that he's alive after reading the coroner's report describing his enlarged prostate. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll get into that in a second. There's some things that are just obvious bullshit. But then there are some things that are like, wait, what? Hang on. I've always sort of just ignored this theory, but lately, since the Epstein files dropped, there's some stuff that's a little bit more solid. We'll get into it, and you guys can make up your own minds. I like that there's a little bit of diversity of thought here. I don't want everybody to always agree with me all the time. It's totally fine. I would love it if people were like, I think you're wrong about that, Chill Goblin. You know what I mean? This is not the Chill Goblin dogma hour. Gobma. Nah, it's too different from the original word. Anyway, so this picture, you guys seen this? You guys heard about this? You guys see this? Joe Leno voice. You guys heard about this? And this is a picture of a guy with a beard and kind of looks like Jeffrey Epstein. Right? Crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. I think it does. Well, debunked very quickly. If you look in the bottom corner of the image, it has a Gemini. That's Google's AI symbol in the corner. So no, this is not a real photo. But if it was real, then that would be crazy. If it was real, then we could be like, whoa, does this guy just kind of look like Epstein? Although I will say that with that beard on, it's kind of like, I know I got a beard, right? And I feel like, you can get fat or you can have a beard or you can do both for extra effect. If you do one of those two things, people will constantly come up to you and be like, you look exactly like my friend, this guy. Or like, oh my God, you look just like this. Because it's like you're just building up layers on top of your distinctive skull shape. You know what I mean? So like a beard that thick, you probably could find a guy who looks like this, who looks exactly like, because you only got to get whatever the forehead and the cheeks got to be kind of Epstein-esque. And then he can just grow a beard over his whatever weird chin he has. Like Epstein's got a weird chin. If you see somebody with that weird fucking dent in their chin, you'd be like, holy shit, is that Andrew Jackson or Epstein? Those are the only two possibilities. But anyway, I don't know why I went into that detail because this is clearly not that. This is an AI picture. Okay, debunked. And then this is another guy, and I don't even think this is AI. I think this guy actually just kind of looks like Epstein, especially from the side. God damn, look at that. But I don't know. This one you can sort of tell, no, that's not him. In fact, he's missing the chin dent. And what is he doing here? He's a waiter? We found him. They thought they could hide him in, I think this was Mark that found this, right? That's you in 30 years. What, this guy? Yeah. Yeah, that does kind of look like me. They thought they could hide him in so this guy was like waiting tables. That'd be kind of crazy if that's where Epstein went. The genes of the two guys. Yeah. I mean, they look pretty similar, I guess, eh? Weird. Well, AI, I guess. So we got that. Those are some of the weird ones. Oh, this one is also Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, she is still alive, but this is the theory that she's not only still alive, but she's Out and about.
Ghislaine?
Look at this. Ghislaine?
Do I know you? You know Ghislaine?
No, sorry.
No? Oh, I used to order hella pizza off of her.
Oh, really?
She always delivered, yeah.
So okay, so this one's kind of interesting. So it looks really annoying that it's got that on it.
Do I know you?
Like it looks quite like Ghislaine, right? It looks exactly like her. And it doesn't look like an AI either, right? There's no weird artifacts, I guess. Like it looks mostly normal, but I think that what this one is a deepfake. So it's like, this is a real video where he's like, are you Ghislaine? But they've taken like a 3D model of Ghislaine's face. I don't fully know how deepfakes work. It's not AI though. It's a very different sort of thing. I mean, I guess it uses some sort of machine learning or something like that, but it's not like AI like we think of it. There's some weird moments where it sort of swish pans, you know, the camera moves very quickly, like around. Like maybe it's right here. Can I step forward and back? No. But it's like, her face is perfectly in focus, even while everything around her is like blurring out. Like right here, like you can sort of see here, look how her face changes. Can you guys see that? It's a little tough. Here, around 13 seconds, you'll see as her face gets to the edge of the screen, it changes. It's not, it like they gave up. Like right here, like here, and then boom. Who's that? Who is that even person? Is there a way to go frame by frame on Twitter? I know there is on YouTube, but like there's some moments where I think the deep fake starts being a deep reel, right? Like right as it gets to the edge, her face sort of shifts. I don't know. That's how I think. Do lots of phone cameras do some fuckery all the time? I mean, that's true, I guess. Oh, I used to order pizza from you. Why would you say that? You're obviously using the Pizzagate code. They're like, Ghislaine, I know that's you. We were pedophiles together. When a deep fake becomes deep real. Chill Goblin 2026. So zen. Yeah. That's like the modern day equivalent of those like spoken word poems that would be like, social media, anti-social media. You go on Facebook, but you won't face a book. I don't see you in the face anymore. I poke you, I like you, but I never will be like you, or whatever. I don't know. All right, so I think those ones are the real silly ones. Well, there's more silly ones, but like let's start with those. And then we got this one I thought was kind of crazy. So we got a video. There used to be this YouTube account, Rusty Shackleford. It's been taken down. This is a clip from one of his videos that was uploaded, I think, a couple days after Epstein died. And in it, he sort of pans over and he sees right here, there's these two guys hanging out. One guy on like an ATV, one guy leaning against a golf cart, talking. And like the one guy kind of does look like he could be Epstein. And I believe it was, so Epstein died on, I think, was it August 9th? They found him on the 10th. And so like, who is this guy? Let's see. Can we see him? Got the drone. Oh, he looks up. Okay, we see. So we got a little glimpse of his face there. I believe that is actually like the best we ever get. The closest we ever get of his face. And I took a screenshot earlier when I could, control it better. This is like the closest we got of his face here. And like, honestly, like, yeah, like that pixelated blob, I could see that being Epstein. He's wearing shorts, he's wearing a t-shirt, he's wearing whatever. But there's some other ones like this one. I don't know if you guys can totally see that, but his face looks a little too round there for me to think that's Epstein. But from that one angle, but then, like, this is the face that people are going with. And I don't know if they, like, upscaled it or something. Like, let's see this video. It's all about Epstein being alive. Okay, so, like, look at this. This is like the picture that I took, right? This is, like, that's the screenshot I was able to get at full resolution. Actually, it's even a little bit better than the one I got. But then look what happens here. What's this? What's sliding across the thing? Because that looks like it's, like, AI upscaling. Like, you can't do that. That's not how you find out what things actually look like. Whatever. Maybe that type of AI is helpful if you have a photo and you need it like blown up for a billboard or something like that. But you can't use that as a part of your investigation because it'll just turn this face into something else. I think that's lame that people are doing that. But I think he does talk about it in this video too.
The image at the end, this one right here, was taken from a segment of drone footage. The claim, widely circulated online, is that the anonymous drone video was taken after Epstein's death, but the reality is that the footage was gathered prior, during an official FBI raid.
Wait, really? Oh, I actually didn't know that.
The timestamp was then manipulated by some unknown internet user, leading to an extended lifespan where this image now circulates as purported evidence of Epstein being alive and well.
So I didn't know that, because I found the original video. So this guy, Rusty Shackleford, he must have been like some guy who lived in like St. Thomas or something. And he would just fly his drone over Epstein's house and filmed it constantly. Was always like filming videos. We got all these videos. We got like a peek inside the temple. We got all this stuff. And then one day he just deleted his YouTube account. But they're all up on like Rumble and shit. But the reason I dug this up on Internet Archive, the Wayback Machine, is because I wanted to see the date that it was originally uploaded. So that guy's saying that it's from after, but I didn't know that. Just change the date. Simple. FBI did search the island, like even after his death. Yeah, like after his arrest for sure. So this is why I'm confused, because I've seen the footage of them, raiding the island, but he didn't know about that. I think he had some like it seems like he was sort of like, oh fuck, I'm about to get arrested. I'm pretty sure. Like somebody maybe tipped him off, but it wasn't enough. Like he still got arrested. He didn't know he was about to get arrested. He was supposed to meet with Bannon that day. He died on the 9th, I believe. So if this was uploaded after the 9th, because like I was just thinking like, okay, well it's probably not him. But if we find out that it was uploaded before, here we got Rusty Shackleford. That's the guy that I was talking about, named after Dale from King of the Hills, alter ego. And then what's this? Upped their chase game. So published on August 31st, 2019. Okay, there you go. So this is from like long after he was dead. I mean, 3 weeks after, but like a while. Up the chase game with the second modified Protector style boat. Won't forget that one, you dirty slime bags. You could literally indict the entire Virgin Islands government, power company, port authorities, everyone from the cops to the bankers on corruption charges. Sorry, you should, even without human rights violations. This guy's like spitting, right? Human rights violations. They are all involved in corruption, cover-ups, drugs, kickbacks, blind eyes. Everything was and is allowed. Free reign down here. Epstein included. Defrauding the United States and federal government. So yeah, I guess this guy lives in the Virgin Islands, and he's kind of spot on about all this. And then what is he linking to? Justice.gov. Go to site. What was he linking us to? Oh, wow. He links us to the DOJ website. Governor security officer pleads guilty to smuggling more than 21 kilograms of cocaine through St. Thomas Airport. Okay, so he's talking about like how whatever Stacey Plaskett's corrupt. All right, yeah. In all factual sense, this is now an entity maintaining, covering up a criminal enterprise. Oh, he's saying like this specific law is what we should prosecute these people for. All right, I'm not totally sure what this guy's talking about, but what I did understand, I was like, yeah, I agree. Cool. But yeah, this is from after he died, though. So that's why I'm confused why that other guy was saying, whoever made that video, yeah, FBI agents swarm Epstein's private Caribbean island. And I've seen other videos of Rusty Shackleford from like the 12th, I guess, where you see guys with like FBI, NYPD vests on. There was a lot of different agencies searching his island that day, and there's parts where they're in his houses and they see the drone outside looking in at them, and they start covering up the windows with cardboard boxes. That's quite interesting. But yeah, so this guy, I like how he's like, yeah, I made this my intro, but just so you know, it is a lie. This is actually before he died, but it's not. It isn't. This is from after he was arrested, after he died, and probably like a couple weeks after he died at least. Okay, what are we saying here? We're saying that the way that he moves out of the way of the drone, if that really was Epstein who returned to his like now FBI whatever patrolled island, I mean, maybe he's working with the FBI and they're okay with him being there, but he sees a drone overhead and he's just kind of like, nah, that's annoying, and like leans back into the shadow a little bit. Like, I don't know. Like, I would expect him to freak out a little bit more. Now, what are the odds it's just like another old guy? I feel like for me, that's where I'm at. So yeah, that one's kind of nothing to me. But let's go to 4chan. So this is nuts. For a long time, we've known that like about 40 minutes before knowledge of Epstein's death became public, somebody on 4chan poll posted, "Don't ask me how I know, but Epstein died an hour ago from hanging, cardiac arrest, screen cap this." This was like an hour or so before it hit like the mainstream news. And so we knew about that. That's always been like, holy fuck, what the fuck? That's so crazy. But with the Epstein files, we got some new shit. We got this FBI investigation. I don't know what you would call it. Yeah, that's probably it. An FBI investigation where they were like reaching out to the custodian of records at 4chan Community Support LLC. So this is an FBI, like, I don't know, subpoena to 4chan to be like, we need you to give us information. Like, look at how this starts. Look at this. This is crazy. "Greetings. We command you." That's how they talk. Why do they talk like they're like the fucking Borg or something? "We command you that all and singular businesses and excuses being laid aside, you appear and attend before the grand jury of the people in the United States," and yada, 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 yada. So they're like, we gotta fucking talk to you because you got some information that we definitely need. And they gave him the following 4chan post numbers. Let's hear what our buddy over here has to say. What's his name? Upper Echelon.
Task. Let's move on to the subject of 4chan. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, 4chan is an image-based online message board where anyone can post anything. It's a sort of
not anything, but yeah,
deep internet relic of sorts from before the likes of Facebook or Instagram or even Reddit for that matter. It's a website often described by the mainstream media as misogynistic, racist, or homophobic.
Well, it
but
is.
Reality isn't always so simple. Because of its anonymous nature, 4chan, despite its many flaws...
It's weird to be like, the mainstream media defines 4chan as misogynistic and racist. It's like, well, I mean, that's true. Like, it is that. But he's like, things aren't always as they seem. Okay. I mean, like, I've talked before about how, like, when I was on 4chan, it wasn't so fascist. It was kind of like leftist or whatever, like libertarian at worst in like the 2000s. But it's become like a Nazi website. It went down the same pathway as Twitter. But anyway,
was and is often used by whistleblowers or leakers who wish...
No, it's not. I mean, sometimes it's used by that. More often, it's used by people who are pretending to be whistleblowers. I work in the FBI, and I have absolute proof that Hillary Clinton ate a baby. Like, it's like, oh, whistleblowers. Like, that's not a whistleblower thing. If you're a genuine whistleblower, you'll reach out to fucking, Glenn Greenwald or Ken Klippenstein or somebody. Generally, whistleblowers don't go on 4chan because it's so overrun by people spewing bullshit.
To avoid the consequences of disclosing non-public or privileged information. And when it came to Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, that is precisely what it was used for.
Okay.
Appearing on the /politics board at...
Also, it's not politics. It's politically incorrect. It's not politics. This is the most racist, misogynist board. I feel like this, like, I can always tell when people don't know what they're talking about with 4chan. It's like one of those things, right? It's like if you listen to a lot of like punk music and then you hear somebody talk about punk music in like a news program and you'd be like, oh, you do not know. No, that's not even punk. That's ska or whatever. It's so obvious. And with 4chan, it just bugs me because, I don't know, very few people really get what it is. Like people don't know what the website is. It's just a mysterious thing. And some people are like, oh, it's horrible and it's all bad. And some people are like, no, it's actually really cool. And everything on there you can believe. And it's like, obviously both of those things are wrong. But like, anyway, I get those vibes with this guy.
8:16 a.m. on Saturday, August 10th, a post was made stating, quote, "Don't ask me how I know, but Epstein died an hour ago from hanging, cardiac arrest. Screen cap this."
Yeah, crazy that got this is genuinely weird. Like this must have been a guy who knew. It must have been somebody at the prison or something, right?
End quote. August 10th, obviously, is the day that Epstein was discovered in his cell. But the interesting part is that the post went live roughly 40 minutes before any existing media coverage whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
This anonymous user, going by the name RPTND1SI, had posted.
Now, okay, so this is what they call a trip code on 4chan. So if we go over here, like I got all the posts from this guy's trip code, which is, as he says, RPTNDLSI or whatever. Is that a 1 or an L? I don't know. But that's not really a name. That's like trip code. You can put in your trip. You can just put in anything. You can put in like QAnon had one of these. So you could always tell it was the same person posting. And then it turned out the word he put in was Matlock. And there's like an encrypted way that it comes up with this code here, this ID. And it allows you to keep posting and people can tell you're the same guy. So it's not like, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's fine. Maybe I'm nitpicking here. So like you put in an actual word, something they only you know, and it creates this thing that can't be like backwards figured out, if that makes sense. But anywhere you go, if you type in that code, you will get the same hash, whatever. Because yeah, 4chan doesn't have accounts. You don't register, you don't do anything. So yeah, it's like a username and password, but it's not registered to anyone. Yeah, exactly. It's a very smart way of doing 4chan because it's all anonymous and you don't have an account. You just kind of go there and log in. But if you decide that you would like to do this sort of thing where you are constantly posting as the same person, you could make one.
ETND1SI had posted publicly on 4chan about something that the public did not know, and later went on to expand on that thread, adding privileged and, most importantly, accurate medical information about the case. Quote, Worked asystole arrest for 40 minutes. ALS intubated in the field /EPI /2 liters NS.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got the things here. So the FBI wanted to know about these. What's the IP address? Give us the Internet Protocol logs of these 4 posts. And so I looked them up, and there's actually 7 posts from this account in this thread that are all Epstein died an hour ago from hanging, cardiac arrest, screen cap this. Basically, all of his replies are responses to people being like, this is fake. I don't believe you. Fake and gay. Fake and gay. By the way, fake and gay, you hear like Candace Owens and like the trad wives and shit using this phrase, fake and gay. That originates from 4chan. Like that's from like 4chan like 2006 or something. It's weird to hear fucking 4chan phrases said by people, you know? So much of Gen Z slang that isn't from black people is from like 4chan. Weird, eh? Anyway, so somebody's like, oh, this is fake. And he goes, yeah, was called out as cardiac arrest at the Manhattan Federal Detention Facility. Worked asystole for 40 mins. Somebody's like, no, it's fake. Give us some proof. Not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night after 04:15 count, they took a medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Wait, am I? Oh, wait, sorry. This is not the same guy. This is different. See, the ID here is different. So, okay, 0257. So this one was also requested. So this is a different person. Sorry, guys, my bad. This is a different person, 0257, saying, don't try to dox me. And then saying a bunch of specific things. They took a medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed. We did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. So this person is saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't really match with the timeline of what we know about Epstein. And they're saying like, I think they switched him out. But it is interesting that the FBI wanted to know the IP address of that post as well. Anyway, we're back to our guy, Ripatindisi. Let's say I know. Don't need a glowy coming to my crib. Glowy? Isn't that what a glowy is? It's like a 4chan way of referring to like CIA, FBI, the alphabet boys, you know? Feds. It's from, God, I could get into so much history here, but the term originates from this weird racist man who was also kind of a computer genius and also an insane person who believed God had asked him to build the new temple, the new whatever, I don't know, I forget. He wanted him to build this new religious temple, but he wanted it to be an operating system. So this guy built his own operating system from scratch by himself, and it was called Temple OS. And he built it, and it worked. It wasn't as good as, you know, using whatever, Windows or whatever. Yeah. Terry Davis, thank you. And like, he made it available online, and people were like, oh my God, this is so impressive. Like, it doesn't really work, and it wouldn't really be good to use for any practical purpose, but like, holy shit, what the you did this yourself? That's fucking crazy. But the guy was like, I mean, you could sort of tell already from that story that the guy was losing his mind. I think he had like a brain tumor or something. Like something was up with him. And yeah, like kind of a genius, but definitely needed some psychiatric help. And he was also very racist. And one of his like sayings that 4chan really picked up on was, I think like it was CIA N-words glow in the dark. You can hit them with your car at night or something like that. He said that people in the CIA or FBI or whatever glow. They're glowies. But yeah, it does come from that kind of problematic thing. But yeah, if you're wondering where that term comes from, that's what it means. A totally valid point too from Vin Von Voom. I'm still not convinced actual OP didn't just get lucky. I mean, he had just been taken off suicide watch at this time. We knew that publicly. That's true. But I don't know. I still think, because he got everything about it right. Hanging, died about an hour ago. I think he died like the night before or something. But still, like they found out like an hour ago. So like it seems like this is somebody who worked in the prison to me. And from this, it's like, okay, that seems like a guy who spent a lot of time on 4chan. And now I'm getting a little bit speculative here, but the two people I know, the two prison guards that got kind of like in trouble over their whatever behavior during Epstein's death were both black. And black people can definitely be on 4chan, but I just find it harder to believe that because they're black. Okay, and again, maybe I'm just being racist here. Maybe I'm racist, but because those two guards are black, I find it hard to believe that they were the ones who they would be spending all this time on pole, enough to know like lingo like a glowy, you know? But I don't know. Who knows? Like, that's totally speculative. Don't need a glowy coming to my crib, but they declared death at New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan ER. And I think that's true. Screen cap this then, brudda, and post when the news breaks. And then this is, how did he die? Hanging. And finally, worked asystole arrest. That's the second time you use that word. What does that mean? Clipped and canceled. God, please. No. Asystole, known as flatline, a medical condition where the heart's electrical activity ceases entirely. See, this is what's wrong with me, is I know what glowy means, and I can give you the whole etymology, and I don't know useful shit like this. How do you say that?
Asystole.
Oh, wow. I was wrong in like
Asystole.
every syllable of that. All right. Worked asystole arrest for 40 minutes. Also intubated in the field. Epi 2 liters NS infused. Telemetry advised bicarb and D50 in field. PT transported to Lower Manhattan ER and worked for 20 minutes and called. Hospital administrator was alerted, preparing statements. So that's all the stuff from, oh shit, sorry, I'm not showing you the thing. Gang, I'm sorry. This was that last post that I read there. This is the one where it's like, they switched him out. And the rest of it is all just like very factual, straightforward. Here's what happened. Cardiac arrest, hanging, dead, went to this hospital, blah, 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 blah. Hot Goblin, please. Yes, Mark J. Cancel him. Why are you so evil? Yeah, so like, it makes a lot of sense to look into this guy. I don't feel like they needed to look into this, but they did also get a tip. Somebody called them in. Protect identity. Blank called the FBI National Threat Center to report a viral post on unknown social media platform regarding Epstein. This is from the new files. So get this, all right? Some random woman called the FBI, said she received a text from her friend, blank. That's already like, we're at like 3 layers here. FBI, person who called in, person's friend. The text was a screenshot of a post, another thing, on an unknown social media platform, okay? Screenshot of a post on this friend had on an unknown social media platform that friend had received from another unknown friend, okay, that's another layer, who told friend it was viral. The following information was on the screenshot. And then it's the text of the thing. Guys, I'm basically yada, yada, yada. Please do not try to dox me. Guys, I am shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. This is the one that's not the same trip code as the guy who seems to know shit. Blank stated it was clear that this post was from a guard at MCC regarding Epstein. Blank was also talking to Blank on Facebook, who also told Blank that the exact message was floating around social media, including Facebook. Blank stated that herself and Blank were not personally connected to Epstein in any way. People have been like, look, and the FBI got a tip about it. Was that you look at the tip and it's like, this is just somebody, some fucking grandma who got an email forward about this. This is a screenshot taken by a friend of a fucking Facebook post, of a screenshot of a 4chan post, of a guy who isn't even using the same trip code as the guy who actually did know about this. So it's like, I don't know, it loses a lot of credibility here, right? But the reason I bring this up is like people have been conflating these two posts and talking about them as though they're the same guy and being like, look, and he knew about it in advance and he said they switched. And it's like, man, I don't even know about that. Should we listen to more about what this guy says about it?
Infused. Telemetry advised by
Yeah, I read all that.
alone. Self-evidently, this person, whoever they were, had insider access of some kind.
No. Oh, yeah, that person, yes.
Things that they knew
That person
indicated extremely close proximity to the case, but they're also not alone. Contained in that very same thread, another user chimed in, this time going by the name Swam8W1F.
He just keeps calling them names. People watching this must be like, why do these 4chan guys pick names like this? What the fuck does that mean? Is this some sort of Nazi dog whistle?
In a vacuum, this is a random post from an unknown person making wild claims on a 4chan anonymous message board.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's exactly how it was treated.
Oh.
But flash forward now to the year 2026, contained within the most recent Epstein file batches, and we find this. What you're looking at is a 2019 FBI intake form where a woman, whose name is redacted, called the tip line and made them aware of a social media post, which appeared to be from an MCC guard, the prison where Epstein was being held. She then...
But they have to report this stuff when they get tips like this. Like, this isn't evidence of anything. This is evidence of a lady who got afraid of something she saw on Facebook.
Submitted a screenshot of the 4chan post, and what followed was anything but normal.
True. I spent my fair share of time in jails. All the COs do is play on their phones. I'm sure some of them are on 4chan and all. Yeah, it's true. I'd rather they were browsing 4chan than, beating the shit out of people.
Following this tip as well, the FBI issued multiple subpoenas, as seen here, to companies like Apple, AT&T, Citibank, and 4chan, where the subject of those subpoenas were 2 IP addresses, attempting to ascertain the identities of 2 accounts, RPTND1SI and SWAM8F, as in the same 2 users who had posted on 4chan. Of course, one of those accounts had very obviously been privy to insider information. Understandable that law enforcement would like to know who they are and why they were posting these things. But the other one should have been nobody. They didn't make threats or post documents. No. They didn't even have any prior account activity whatsoever. And yet the
Yeah, it's interesting. Like if I were the FBI, I would be like, nah, okay, I don't give a fuck about that.
FBI was now going after their phone records, their bank accounts, their emails, and pretty much anything else they could possibly get their hands on. Now for the coincidence.
I don't think the FBI found anything. Like, it seemed like from what I was able to ascertain, I don't have the documents, but they got these IPs, but the person was using I don't know what it's called, Stubens, you probably know, a non-static like IP or something like that, or like a moving IP or something. So they weren't able to find out who posted them.
Contained in that subpoena from the Citibank records in particular, we find out that the FBI was targeting a man named Roberto Grijalva. And if you then dig into the identity of this Roberto Grijalva, you find a lawsuit from 2023. Bettis versus Grijalva, Southern District of New York.
Oh, shit.
Lieutenant Roberto Grijalva.
Let me see if I can look this up. Roberto Grijalva. Who is this guy? Roberto Grijalva. Oh, wow. Oh, so they did find the guy. Did they? Epstein Files. This is from Times Now World, which is a mixed accuracy, right-wing bias website, but all right. Is this confirmed? Damn. All right, I guess I didn't see this. According to the documents, Grijalva alleged in the 4chan post that Epstein left his cell. Oh, and they're saying that this was the one with they switched him out? Really? Okay, that's weird. Also appears in separate Epstein Files documenting interviews conducted at the MCC. At least they're putting in the EFTA numbers, because I will say the other annoying thing about that guy's YouTube video is he didn't include any links to the documents he's citing, so I had to find these all on my own. Yeah, let's go to the files site here. No, this is good. Hey, listen, I've been clowning on this guy's video, but he did find something that I didn't see. Oh, not found? Okay, I give up. A written memo authored by Grijalva just days after Epstein's death. Past information. Yeah, I mean, like, this is not really, like, I don't think this is true. I'm sorry, I don't believe this. I need more. Roberto Grijalva, Hindustan Times, Sunday Guardian Live. None of these really seem very reliable. Okay, here's one that's mostly factual. Is Epstein still alive? So I must have missed this. Roberto Grijalva, a lieutenant at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. His name appeared in Citibank records provided in response to a grand jury subpoena. Oh, wow. So it is saying here, you guys, I'm shaking right now, but they switched them out, the post read. That's crazy. Wow. So we're saying there's 2 guards? There were 2 guards on it? Or are these just poorly researched articles? Yeah, Roberto Grijalva. I wish I could find the actual documents. That would be great. Why don't they ever include a link? I'm sorry, guys, but it just doesn't. I want to get to the bottom of this, but it doesn't seem like there's anything specifically tying them to that post. Like, it seems like we're looking at both posts here. If this is the Citibank records that they're talking about, this is just, it lists all of these posts. It lists 4 posts, and only one of them is from the guy that posted this. I would like to know who is Roberto Grijalva. You know what, though? We don't need to beat around the bush here. We can just get into the other stuff, because maybe there's some shit here that I didn't know about. But we've actually got more convincing shit ahead. So, yeah, this was the reason for removal from watch. We already had this. Epstein told the guys that were, like, whatever, his therapist or whatever, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever they had in jail, I have no interest in killing myself. He described having a wonderful life. I have interactions with interesting people and projects. It would be crazy to take his life. I would not do that to myself. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, he's in jail. He's on suicide watch, and he wants to be taken off suicide watch. So this is the sort of thing you would say if you were suicidal and you wanted to be left alone so you could kill yourself. So, yeah, I don't treat that as, like, super good evidence. This one's actually interesting. This might be the most interesting one so far. Look at this. The medical examiner who studied Epstein's corpse noted an enlarged prostate, but Epstein's own words and medical records in the released files seem to indicate that his prostate was removed. First of all, you can remove your prostate? Don't you need that? Jeez. The prostate is slightly and diffusely enlarged, with marked enlargement of the verumontanum. The testy, they really burned Epstein's nuts here. You see this? The testes are unremarkable? I mean, I know he's a pedophile and everything, but you didn't gotta do him like that. The testes are unremarkable. Jeez, that's embarrassing. Why, they gotta highlight that. That doesn't have anything to do with his prostate. Anyway. And then it said Epstein had unremarkable testes, when in reality, his testes were known to be very interesting. Yeah, why would you remove the funnest part of your body? Why did he get the male clit taken out? That's crazy. This guy truly was a sick fuck, eh? Man, I don't even know why. I mean, I guess you you get cancer on it and then you get it taken out. Doesn't say anything about his penis or its shape. True. Yeah, because it's always been like he had an egg-shaped penis, right? That's always what people have been saying. And then this is a conversation. You can have a high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Correct. And then LabCorp down here. According to the American Urological Association, serum PSA should decrease and remain at undetectable levels after radical prostatectomy. Wow. Prostatectomy. Prostatectomy is a surgical procedure to remove all or part of the prostate gland. Okay, so it could be all or part of the prostate gland. This operation is done for benign conditions that cause urinary retention, as well as for prostate cancer and for other cancers of the pelvis. There are two main types of prostatectomy. A simple prostatectomy involves removal of only part of the prostate. But I believe that this one said radical prostatectomy. Radical. Doctor comes in on a skateboard with like a slingshot. What's up, dude? Yo, we're totally gonna say smell you later to your fucking prostate or whatever it's called. That's my impression of a radical prostatectomy. Okay, here we go. A radical prostatectomy, the removal of the entire prostate gland, the seminal vesicles, the vas deferens, and pelvic lymph nodes is performed for cancer. Damn. So I guess in that case, would that imply that Epstein had prostate cancer? The only reason to get that. That's quite interesting. And this looks like an official, lab test result report. And who's he talking to here? Richard. Talking to Richard. Come on now. Yeah, he's just like talking to his own dick. And Jessica is there too. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. He also received this letter, which introduced him to a number of new doctors, one of which specialized in radical prostatectomy. And this was 2019. Wait. So maybe he was about to get the prostatectomy, but he didn't? Is that possible? Oh, because this just says you don't have a prostate. Does it say what date this was? 9/14/20. Hang on. Let's dig in and wiggle our finger around until we really find the prostate. Luckily, Dissident Media is legit and gave us the the file numbers. Oh, thank you, Finland. All right, so it's an interview, and I guess this is between Richard Indike or Richard Kahn? And we're going to look for prostate. Okay, prostate's mentioned twice. Sorry, I have a very sick friend. So someone really wanted to start a new race of superiorly intelligent people. They would prefer to have only cesareans, right? Oh my God, he's already lived a full life, gone beyond his reproductive stage. In fact, his prostate, did he? That's not why. What the hell are we listening to here? He likes the idea of testosterone replacement, but we were talking Viagra, and he said he's a much bigger fan of testosterone. Jerry Edelman says, if you fuck with nature, you're going to end up doing something bad to yourself. And if you want to play with that curve does weird things to you. They're talking about taking testosterone. Nature gives you diseases. If you do things carefully, it's probably better than letting nature take its course. The argument against testosterone. Okay, so it's right here. Take testosterone, what you do is you turn off the cells in the hypothalamic pituitary axis. So those cells are basically shut down. It's that FSH-LSH deal, right? Exactly. And it's not clear what other effects these hormones might be having that aren't replaced by testosterone. And so the advantage of taking testosterone, there are two different things. You can have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Correct. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm glad that we read this because they're actually not saying Epstein doesn't have a prostate here. They're talking hypothetically about somebody. The advantage of taking testosterone, they're two different things. You can have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Like they're talking about a theoretical person who could have high testosterone and still need Viagra. They're not saying that, if we look back on this page here, the part that they screenshotted, it doesn't include the context. It just starts at Richard's thing here. Correct. But like when you read through the full context, it doesn't even imply, that's not even how I read it at all. But if we look at the actual thing here, the way that I'm reading this, like they're talking hypothetically. The argument against testosterone, I'm hardly an expert on this. If you take testosterone, what you do is you turn off the cells in the hypothalamic pituitary axis. So those cells are basically shut down. It's the FSH, LSH deal, right? Exactly. And it's not clear what other effects those hormones might be having that aren't replaced by testosterone. So the advantage of taking testosterone, there are two different things. You can have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Correct. So these guys are both like trying to sound smart to each other, right? This is like a very typical Epstein conversation where he's like, yeah, you could have this because if you don't have a prostate. He's like, yeah, that's right. And he's like, correct. As if Epstein knows this. But like, okay, what about the other one? Because this one, I don't think it's proof that he doesn't have a prostate. Can we look at the other ones though? All right. LabCorp patient report. This is from 2018. So like, it's got his results, right? And then it's got like a bunch of like words, okay? Like, I'm not a doctor here. I'm just trying to figure out if he indeed had no prostate. And like, if we look down here, he got his vitamin D result here, 20.2, it's low. And this one, vitamin D deficiency has been defined by the Institute of Medicine and Endocrine Society practice guidelines level of serum 25, vitamin D less than 20. So that's like, he's right on the edge. I think this part here, everyone probably gets this, right? Like no matter what their results were or what their current thing is, this is just like a form automatic thing that you get on your test. That's what it looks like to me. And then this one here with the prostate specific AG serum, what is that? Like, he got a score of 0.7. Could you get a score like that without a prostate? Maybe. Serum PSA should decrease and remain at undetectable levels after radical prostatectomy. The AUA defines biochemical recurrence as an initial PSA value of 0.2 or greater, followed by a subsequent confirmatory PSA value of 0.2 or greater. Values obtained with different assay methods or kits cannot be used interchangeably. Results cannot be interpreted as absolute evidence of the presence or absence of malignant disease. So that's what I'm getting from this too. 0.2 indicates no prostate. 0.7 is not undetectable. Like that's what I'm thinking, right? Like I'm sorry we spent so much time on that, but the vibe I'm getting here is that these are either intentionally like obscured, because again, if we go and look at the way that Dissident Media, this guy, tell the truth, literally his name on here is Tell the Truth. If you look at Dissident Media, like it's cutting out the context that makes it clear that these guys are just speaking hypothetically, not about Epstein himself. And then down here, it cuts out the thing where it says his score. It shows they've specifically photoshopped it. So it's got the LabCorp thing at the top, and then it cuts out the middle part that would give you that context. And then they put in this shit at the bottom, the whatever, and they highlight the radical prostatectomy. So when I read this, I am not seeing evidence that Epstein didn't have a prostate. Also, like, I mean, somebody pointed out before, like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, that doesn't seem like an Epstein thing to do. I mean, I guess if he had prostate cancer, he wouldn't have a choice. Okay, metadata indicated Epstein set a calendar reminder to get the name of a prostate cancer specialist from an acquaintance. If Epstein had his prostate removed, as when considered with the data above it appears he might have, how did his corpse have a prostate? So, need a prostate cancer specialist. I mean, Epstein was like, what was he, in his 60s? Like, every dude has to be thinking about this. Prostate, like, that's what fucking Movember is about. Did you guys not pay attention to Movember? This is a thing. You gotta get your butt checked out. Yeah, okay. Need a prostate cancer specialist from Dick Merkin. Like, Epstein's full labs showing heightened PSA. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so then he does include it. Also, I like this person. True non-pod, you've been excessively measured in your analysis. I understand that circumspection is prudent, but there's no need to ignore yellow flags either. Yellow flags. That's funny when we're talking about cloudy urine. But yeah, no, I think this is at best dishonest framing of actual Epstein files. So yeah, I'm going to say I think this one is bullshit. I did actually think this one was kind of real, but looking into it, thank you so much, Finland. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. Here's one that's just kind of fun. Dead Epstein's body was Hillary's brother. Freed mind eye test confirms. So you mean like somebody with a freed mind looked at it and confirmed that the dead Epstein body was actually Hillary's brother. So if this is Hillary's brother, what's his name? Tony Rodham? It actually does kind of weirdly look like Epstein. Is that actually what he looks like? Tony Rodham. Let's look him up. Tony Rodham. Okay, yeah, he's a little bit Tony Rodham. I mean, it doesn't have the right face shape. He has a little bit too much meat on his bones, or whatever you want to call it. He does weirdly look like that's kind of nuts, eh? I mean, he doesn't look like Epstein, but he totally could play like Epstein's brother. He looks more like Epstein's brother than he looks like Hillary Clinton's brother. Anyway, So a lot of people think that he was the guy that was actually the body of Epstein and the real Epstein's still alive. And I don't know. I think it's funny because he died 2 months before Epstein's prison suicide. June 7th, 2019. So yeah, he did die 2 months before Epstein's suicide. I just think it's very funny to the idea that like Hillary Clinton's like, we got to help Epstein escape. You know who we can use? My brother. I'll have him killed, then arrest Epstein, then a month later we'll fake his suicide. We'll throw in my brother's dead body, which we've kept on ice. And Seth Epstein. Yeah. I censored it a little. I censored this picture a little bit because like, I don't know. It felt a little bit weird showing this on stream because it's got like all the marks from his like hanging and stuff. And his face just looks gross because it's a dead body. But like, this was a photo of Epstein supposedly dead for like 8 hours or so. Tony was dead like months at this point. And I just think it's funny that like Hillary would be involved in this plan and she would be expected to like supply the replacement body. Like, you know, Hillary doesn't have to do, she's got so many people on her like Epstein double list. She is a very powerful woman. She would not need to use her own brother here. But anyway, according to the Freed Mind here, Tony Rodham died 2 months before Epstein's prison suicide, with a stuff in the files about putting bodies on ice, which I'm also like, what stuff? Which player characters know, it's easy to conclude in your Freed Mind that they stored Tony after his death and used his body. With the altered cell CCTV footage, the public's spottings of him and Maxwell, everything points to Epstein's not dead. So like altered CCTV footage, that it was a real thing. It was like a minute missing from it. This, when he says this, it's just like, oh, look at their ears. Also, I like that, like, usually they do a little bit more with the diagrams, but this one they're just like, look at the ears. And like the line that he's drawing is just like, look how it curves like that on the outside. Wow. And this one too. It's like, yeah, like a lot of people's ears do that, man. That's just, you've just like made an ear shape. I remember people using this to say that Osama bin Laden and Barack Obama were the same person, being like, look at their ears betray them, they are the same guy. And they would outline the actual like shape of the, what do you call it, all the weird little pipes and stuff inside the ear, and be like, look, it's the same. But in this one, they didn't even do that. He didn't even flip the image so that the ears are facing the same direction. Like, we're looking at two different ears. Like, this is his left ear and Epstein's right ear. How am I supposed to compare them, man? You know? But okay, anyway. The altered cell CCTV footage, the post body of them in Maxwell, and like all that's like AI, deepfakes and stuff. Everything points to Epstein's not dead. Okay. I guess my mind isn't free. 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth? Yeah. It's like, I could believe if one of those lined up, but all of them? Nah, man. Nah, maybe you can fool the sheeple, but you gotta get pretty early to fool a freed mind like me. Freed mind eye test confirms. I love that. Freed mind eye test. Love it. Sorry to dunk on this guy.
I had to spank him there at the end, and I certainly enjoyed it.
I'm sure he's a good dude. He's just trying to do his own research here. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's funny. Goblin Queen. You know what else betrays Obama? Vowels. And most of the consonants. And yeah, again, another very fun theory, because it's like, you think that Osama bin Laden, like, whatever, like, faked his death or something, or like, whatever, decided to become Obama, whatever, shaved his beard, shaved his whatever hair, like, became president of the U.S., and like all of this, like, if he did that, oh my God, that's so impressive. But he was like, but I don't want to change most of my name. And his like advisor's like, Osama, you have to do it. You have to change the name. You can't go. You have to be a new guy. And he's like, no, okay, I'll change 1 letter. I'll only do 1 letter. I really like my name. He like wouldn't do it. Anyway, love it. But okay, this one though, okay, all the stuff here, I don't really find any of this convincing so far. I think a lot of it is like wishful thinking or just like finding shit that's crazy and making it into a thing. This one though, this last thing I'll show, this one was the only thing really that I looked at during this research where I was like, so this is a FBI report on the Bureau of Prisons, whatever, actions. So they're interviewing like COs and shit here. Upon arriving at the MCC, so that's the prison, blank completed some tasks before blank assigned him to the hospital in Park Row, which is separate from the main MCC building and where Epstein's body was being guarded. When blank arrived at the hospital with case management coordinator, CMC D blank, who was responsible for taking Epstein's fingerprints, COs blank and blank were with Epstein's body and had secured the scene. All right, so far, not that weird. Blank remained with COs blank and blank until personnel from the Office of Chief Medical Examiner arrived to transport Epstein to their facility. So that's, I guess, like the hospital. Now this part, due to the large news media presence outside the MCC, a male OCME official called and said he would be arriving at the loading dock with a black vehicle. In order to thwart the media, blank, blank, and blank used boxes and sheets to create what appeared to be a human body, which was put into the white OCME vehicle, which the press followed, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body. Now that isn't like, that doesn't mean he didn't die or that they switched his body out or whatever, but that does seem to be, they are saying, yes, they had a fake Epstein body that they wheeled out. And I find that kind of jaw-dropping. Oh, wait, what's this that you've sent me? This Google Maps thing, Finland? Oh, there's a Publix 7 minutes from Epstein's Palm Beach house? Now, this might be very Canadian of me. What's a Publix? What is that? Or maybe, is that even a Canadian thing too? But the double is cardboard, and I feel like you could easily figure out if that cardboard box thing was the real Epstein by doing a ear comparison between Epstein and the pile of cardboard boxes. And there were photos of like Epstein getting wheeled out, right? Like I remember them anyway from like back in the day. Officials made decoy body. That is crazy. I guess it doesn't prove anything, but I just thought that was so odd. Here, okay, I found the photos we had of Epstein's body being wheeled out. I think it's okay to show. Now this is a Daily Mail article from 2019, 11th August. This is like a couple days after this happened. Photos of Epstein's body being wheeled into hospital moments before he was pronounced dead have emerged as it is revealed. Corrections officers had not checked on the pedophile for several hours, yada, yada, yada. So here's him being wheeled out, and he's being put into a white van, or is that a van? No, sorry, that's not a van. That's just the doors. Here's another one, and this is later, Manhattan Hospital. Could this one be the fake one? Because it looks different than this. This one looks real. They're still trying to revive him. Like they've got the little breather machine. Blank and blank and blank use boxes and sheets to create, they put that into the white vehicle, which the press followed. The black vehicle departed unnoticed. Yeah, I mean, doesn't seem like the black vehicle departed unnoticed. Like they got photos of it. This is the black vehicle. Oh, wait, what's this? A white vehicle. Hospital staff are seen preparing a white coroner's van before Epstein's body was loaded inside. I'm so confused. A black bag believed to contain Epstein's body was pictured being taken out of New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital. So this was the one I guess they put the fake body into? Body of Jeffrey Epstein removed from hospital after apparent suicide. So this would be the fake body. It's funny. So I guess they covered it up with these like little like, portable dressing room curtains to make people think, oh, this must be where the real Epstein's going. This is the cardboard box one. You can kind of tell from how light it looks, right? Like the way that the wheels are moving around. Like look at him like do a little wheelie here. Whoa, that does not look like it's heavy. And then they fold up the things and everybody's like, oh, that must be it. And then people followed this. Like here's all the press. But then somebody was filming the black one because they got this. But it's funny that it doesn't seem like Daily Mail is even acknowledging any of that. They're like, no, yep, Epstein, what happened was when he died, he underwent the process of body meiosis, and he split into two Epsteins, and they were both put in different vans and taken away. That is what we think happened, because they include both. That's crazy. That is just nuts. Okay, well, you know what? I actually went into this a little bit more pilled than I ended it as. At first, I was like, a lot of it is pretty dumb, like this one's dumb, this one's AI. A lot of it's pretty dumb, but some of it's real. Some of this stuff is actually kind of intriguing. And then when I actually looked into it, I came away like, oh, actually, the prostate thing seems like Dissident Media, whose Twitter bio is tell the truth, which is always a sure sign of somebody who lies pathologically. And like this one, I was kind of like, that's weird. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, actually, that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Am I just like, I don't always want to be the guy that debunks shit. I don't want to be the debunker or whatever, like, I don't want to be some like, I want to believe in the fun conspiracy stuff too. But yeah, the Epstein didn't die stuff, I just don't find convincing. I don't know. I guess I would like to know more about Roberto Grivaldo, but even this one, which I was momentarily like, oh shit, Did they confirm that this one was by a guard? And I don't think that they did. I think that it's like dishonest reporting, because everything that I can see, it's just that post lumped in with the actual ones that do seem to be from a guard. And the ones from a guard are all like, he died from hanging, cardiac arrest. Like these ones where it's all confirmable, yeah, they do seem like this. It's like, we can't just believe everything we see on 4chan, or we'd all be fucking QAnon pilled and worse. Gang, okay, sorry. Goblin Queen told me I gotta do shorter chunks after like the Les Wexner thing where I just did like 6 hours on one thing. So I meant for this Epstein didn't die thing to only be an hour long. Hopefully we can narrow it down. But I guess I will say, yeah, overall I'm less convinced than I was when I started this. I was sort of starting to get a little pilled, and now I'm kind of back to my usual default opinion on Epstein conspiracies, which unfortunately is usually, nah, I don't think so.